Nicole shared an intense experience during a serious illness, in which her perception reached extraordinary levels, allowing her to understand the emotions and intentions of those around her while facing death in a near-death experiencie. Facing moments that defy human understanding, she realized that in that place, time passed differently. There, she had the total decision of whether to go or return, but her fate might not have been good had she chosen to go, as what she found there was not very pleasant. Hello, I am Marcus, and it's a pleasure to welcome you here to Beyond the Life We Live. I hope you feel at home and absorb the lesson from this story we're about to tell. While you're here, please like and subscribe to the channel, as it's very important to us, helping us bring new and impactful stories to you. Nicole had this remarkable experience at the end of 2018 while studying, working, and taking care of her 5-year-old daughter. She began to feel extreme fatigue and back pain, attributing these symptoms to the intense pace of her life. However, the pain and fatigue quickly worsened, leading her to be hospitalized with a kidney infection, which seemed like a simple treatment with antibiotics. The simple treatment quickly turned into a critical situation, and her health began to deteriorate rapidly, making her feel her body disconnect and weaken day by day. Although she noticed the progressive weakening, Nicole still didn't believe she was dying. She just felt her body slowly fading, as if disconnecting. Until one night, she faced a critical moment in the small local hospital, where her condition worsened considerably due to the limited resources. The medical team then decided to transfer her to a larger hospital in the neighboring city. It was during this transfer that Nicole experienced an intense feeling of disconnection from her body, describing the moment as a gradual dimming of lights, like a feeling of shutting down. Despite this, she resisted the idea of her own death, as she felt incapable of accepting that end. The next day, her parents arrived to accompany her during the transfer, and she was exhausted, struggling to communicate or even open her eyes due to the intense pain and fatigue. Still, she had to face the ambulance ride to the new hospital, fearing she might not survive the journey due to her debilitated physical state. Anxiety overwhelmed Nicole as she prepared for the ambulance ride to the new hospital. Feeling anguished and worried, she feared her condition would prevent her from enduring the journey. However, when a nurse approached to accompany her during the trip, she felt a sense of comfort, as if the nurse's presence brought light to the situation, making her vision regain lost clarity. At that moment, the fear and apprehension disappeared, replaced by an unexpected calm. During the trip, she experienced something curious. Despite her grave condition, she no longer felt pain, had no difficulty breathing, nor nausea. Even though she had never seen this nurse before, Nicole felt an absurd connection with her, with a mix of longing and relief from her presence. This moment was significant for her, as she felt consoled and supported in a situation she considered so desperate. In the end, the transfer to the new hospital went smoothly. However, upon arrival, she felt her health worsen quickly, losing her clarity of vision and control over her body. At this new hospital, Nicole underwent a series of exhaustive tests, and after them, a doctor revealed the severity of her condition: sepsis. In sepsis, the immune system's response to infection can trigger a series of inflammatory reactions throughout the body, leading to organ damage and multiple organ failure, one of the leading causes of death. This news deeply scared her, as she knew how dangerous this illness was. The reality of the situation hit her with such force that Nicole found herself confronted with the real possibility of her own death. Afraid and exhausted, her thoughts immediately turned to her daughter, as she worried about ensuring her well-being. Because of this, the fear of falling asleep and never waking up haunted her, and she found herself on the edge of a precipice, aware that any slip could lead to her death. In the midst of this struggle, her NDE began. She describes a curious state of consciousness while facing the illness, feeling aware of her body, yet at the same time feeling disconnected from it. In the midst of this, she had flashes of memories of her daughter, moments that gave her the strength to resist. It was then that she experienced an expanded state of consciousness, where she had a heightened perception of absolutely everything around her. During this state, she was aware of the activities and people entering her room. This awareness was so sharp that she noticed the physical characteristics and moods of the people around her, even before seeing them. However, she also noticed unpleasant sensations, such as a bad smell and a feeling of heaviness near her mother, which didn't emanate directly from her, but which Nicole felt as if they were coming from her. She describes disturbing situations in which her memories seemed to vanish as she alternated between states of consciousness, feeling intense agony as she tried to remember and understand what was happening during those moments of separation from her body. In one of these intervals of consciousness, she recalls a dark experience in an environment that resembled an old chemistry lab. Initially, she felt curious to walk through that place, but soon felt a sinister presence watching her among the dusty shelves. Her instinct at that moment told her she should not stay there, so she left the place instantly and automatically, in something she understood she had done just by thinking about it. Outside of that place, Nicole found herself in a dark environment and saw a figure with luminous contours. During these moments, she reached a deep understanding of life and death and realized that if she left, she would continue in some way without fear or regret. However, she also recognized that despite her own tranquility, her departure would impact her daughter, something that couldn't be replaced. Faced with this situation, Nicole felt total freedom to decide whether to leave or stay. And although she knew she could move forward, she chose to stay for her daughter. This decision made her understand that despite the severity of her physical condition, she was not destined to leave, feeling a wave of relief and confirmation when a man at the hospital shared the story of his daughter, who had faced a similar diagnosis and fully recovered. This experience strengthened her conviction that her situation would not be fatal. After receiving the diagnosis in the emergency room, she was transferred to the ward where she began her treatment and recovery, a recovery that happened amid ups and downs. Despite the difficulties and uncertainties, she decided to move forward, confident in her decision to stay and overcome the challenges that lay ahead.